The number 2 issues we see with bikes that come into the shops on a daily basis are either tight or worn out chains. This is kind of a dangerous situation in a couple of reasons. If your chain is too loose, it's going to rub on your swing arm, it's going to bounce, it's going to hit things, and then it can also come off the sprockets. Too loose of a chain will also cause damage to the sprockets by jumping teeth and breaking teeth off. On the flip side of that, if your chain is too tight, what it does is it limits the travel of your suspension. As your suspension moves up and down, your chain gets tighter and looser. You want to have about 1 inch to 1.25 inches of play in the center of the chain underneath. That will allow your suspension full travel without the chain becoming too tight. We see it at the schools that we run out to Miller Motorsports Park, at race weekends, track days, everything. Guys that come in with their chains way too tight. As your suspension travels down, that chain tightens up. Eventually, the chain won't let the suspension travel anymore. Then you've got nothing to take up any of the bumps or anything except for the tires, and it causes some accidents. Other problem with a worn out chain or a maladjusted chain is they tend to break. I've personally had that experience. It's not one you want. When chains break, they go a couple of different directions. Most people get the bad direction where it goes right through your engine cases. It'll snap, travel with the sprockets, it ends up embedded in your engine. The other place it goes is out the back, and it hits the guy behind you, or it flips up, hits the tail, hits you. I took my wife's R1 out for a track day. I made 2 laps, snapped a chain, took out a $2,000 exhaust system along the way. Not fun. So let's talk about taking care of your chain, cleaning it, lubing it. Most of us have seen the YouTube video and the pictures of the kid missing his fingers because he decided to lube and clean his chain with the engine running in gear. Let's not do that. That's a bad deal. When we're going to take care of our chain, we're going to put it up on a rear stand. If you don't have a rear stand, go down to a shop, have them do it. You know, there's one way to do this stuff, and it's the right way. Otherwise, bikes end up on their sides in garages, or people end up missing their fingers. So we put the bike on a rear stand. First thing we want to do is spin the tire and inspect our chain. You watch down here, you can see that the chain has pretty constant travel on it. When you start getting tight spots and loose spots, and what causes that is when links seize up. They either get too much dirt or rust, or they're just worn out. And what you'll see as you're spinning your tire or your rear wheel, you'll see this chain tighten up where the tight spots are, and then it'll go really loose, and then it'll do the same as the tight spots hit the sprocket. That's a dead giveaway that your chain's worn out and needs to be replaced. It can also be a good sign that you need to replace your sprockets. We tend to do them both at the same time. I don't like to put a new chain on old sprockets, vice versa. Another thing you can watch for on these when you're looking at this is you look down the line of your chain, spin your wheel, make sure that your sprockets are straight, that your chain's not moving back and forth on them. Pretty easy things to look at just to kind of keep a good eye on the maintenance of your bike and save you from any problems. Now, when we clean the chain, there's a lot of different cleaning products on the market. My personal favorite, WD-40, works great. It's an excellent cleaner. It won't dry out the O-rings and seals. I see guys use brake cleaner, carburetor cleaner, things like that, and that'll actually dry out the O-ring seals inside the chain and crack them, and then they come out of the chain. Now your bushings aren't protected from dirt and water and moisture. So we like to use a WD-40. If your chain is really, really dirty, there's products out there like the grunge brush that you can run on the chain, takes all the big chunks and stuff off. If you take care of your chain well, you know, proper maintenance, regular maintenance, you know, you might have to use this once in a while. So, cleaning a chain, real simple. Get some good heavy shop towels or rags, fold it up in a square. I just soak it down really good with WD-40. Really easy. Come down here on the bottom of the sprocket. Just rotate it a little bit. If you come in close, you can already see the difference between the two. We just continue to clean around. Again, if your chain is really dirty or you haven't maintained it properly, you're going to want to use a grunge brush or a soft plastic bristle brush, anything like that to get the gunk out of it. We clean our chains pretty regularly, so it's more a matter of just cleaning off the dirt and grime that's stuck to the lube as we've used it at a race weekend or on the street. You'll be amazed if you've never really maintained your chain at how noisy it is when you listen to it. And people get used to that sound. They think their chain's supposed to be noisy. And then they clean it and properly lube it, and all of a sudden it goes quiet, and they're just amazed at it. So that's pretty simple, pretty quick clean job. We'll go along the top really quick, make sure we get anything out of here. You can hear the sound of that chain now because it's clean and we've kind of removed a lot of the lube and stuff. Now for lube, there's a lot of products on the market. PJ1, Bel-Ray, Spectro, there's several different products on the market. On street bikes, I like to use a dry lube or a wax type lube because it doesn't fling oil off all over your bike. It doesn't attract more dirt and dust like an oil lube will stay wet. Don't use grease, don't use engine oil, don't use 3-in-1 oil. Use a proper chain product. My personal favorite, Spectro Z Clean. It works really well. It's long lasting. You can get it in the big can for around your garage or your shop. You can get these little cans for when you can throw it under the tail of your bike. That way if you get caught out in a rainstorm or some bad weather, you can lube your chain up. Okay, so when we lube the chain, we want to lube the entire surface. You can't just spray it out here on the side and call it good. That's not where the chain's running. So what I like to do is hold back, spin the tire, spray the entire top system of the chain, come underneath here, spray the bottom. I get a good even coat on it, and protect the sides as well. Cleanup's real simple. You just come in with your shop rag, wipe up the mess. Cleaning up after you lube the chain is pretty important because all this stuff is going to want to attract dirt and hold dirt. And that's kind of the enemy of the chain that we're trying to cure here. So now we can see there's no tight spots, no loose spots in the chain. The nice thing about these lubes that have a little bit of a tint to them is you can see where you've lubed and where you've not. And then you make sure you got an even coat. You can always come in afterwards. I know some of you have colored chains or gold chains and you really like the way they look and you don't want this white lube on them. You can come over when you're done. Real easy. You just wipe the lube off the outside of the side plates because you don't need to have lube on the outside of the side plates. Doesn't do you any good. Okay? We can clean it up. We got a nice clean lube chain. This particular kit is a Vortex Racing 520 kit. It's an aluminum rear sprocket, steel front. It's downsized from the stock one, which is 525s and 530s on most bikes. What you want to watch when you're inspecting your chain is you want to look at the teeth on your rear sprocket. Front sprockets are steel and generally hold up quite a while. You do want to inspect that once in a while. If you've gone to a 520 kit with an aluminum rear sprocket, you want to inspect these teeth. Make sure they're wearing evenly and that you're not missing any teeth. Aluminum sprockets, they are what they are. They're amazing, they're lightweight, they're super, but they will wear out a little bit faster than the steel one. If you inspect them and keep an eye on them, they'll last you a long time and keep your chain clean. If you don't and they start to wear funny, then you'll start losing teeth and then you can lose the chain. It's a bad deal. Most of the kits out nowadays, like this Vortex kit, are extremely high quality. They'll get you a lot of miles. This is Kelly Rees for Ignite Media and Trackstar Racing. I hope you've learned something. If you got any questions, you can find us all on Facebook. I'm more than happy to ask any questions you got.